Hi, I'm May. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, I am going to be making a 3D birthday card. And as you saw in the thumbnail, it is going to have plants on it, some succulents, just general greenery. And to get right into it, right after this, I'm going to be putting photos up of the art that I do. All of it's handmade, hand-drawn, and I will be using Ohuhu alcohol markers, which I know a lot of people use. So I will put in the photos the reference of the marker that I use with an arrow to each color, so you can kind of know what I did, if that helps at all. I don't know if that made literally any sense, but fingers crossed that it did. So pretend that I just did a transition that makes sense. I would really appreciate it. All right, we are at the crafting table. If you can even see the table underneath all of this, but we will be putting the base of the card together, and I am fixing to change the camera angle so you can see it more close up, all the measurements, all that jazz. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this paper as my base. I just wanted a bunch of earthy tones, so I thought it would look really cool. I haven't cut it at all, so it's the basic 8x11 size right now, and I just marked out 6.5 inches up because that's how tall I want my card to be. And now I'm gonna use the paper cutter to cut it right across. There we go. Now I'm gonna do a Z-fold. Here's an example I made of a Z-fold on a really gross piece of paper. But basically, you're just gonna fold it in half, halfway across, and then take that halfway, fold it back. That's really it. All right, so now that I've done this, I've decided I actually want it to be a little bit smaller this way, so I'm just gonna mark off about 2 inches. I think would look good. That does not have any lead in it. I am gonna mark off 2 inches and cut that off real quick. All right, so there we go. And now I'm just gonna put the second color down and then pattern on top. I'll show you, I just need to get the papers out. All right, so I've cut out some papers to fill it in. What I'm using is I'm using a dark brown piece as the darkest one in the back, and this one is 4.5 by 6.25 inches. And then on top of that, I am putting this piece of paper, and this one is 4.25 by 6 inches. And then I have another brown, which is 4.75 by 3.5 inches, and the smallest one on top, which is 3.25 by 4.5. I think that's what I have written down, inches. And I'm gonna take a white piece of paper, it's a little bit smaller, stick it in there. That's gonna be that layer. So I just cut out a piece of paper, I'm fixing to glue it down, and this one is about 3.75 inches by 3 inches. So that's gonna be the writing spot. All right, so these are the last piece of paper I have to put on, the 4 pieces. The green's gonna go on top of the brown, and this folds halfway, so these are the same size. And both of these, the brown pieces are 6.25 by 2.5, and the green pieces are both 6 inches by 2 inches long. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. All right, so there we go. Everything is all glued down. All right, so here we go. We have all of the art I made, 6 plants and 1 little rope piece for the hanging plant to go on up here. And some of these I'm just gonna be gluing down, but a lot of them I'm gonna be making them stick up by putting a piece of foam underneath. And I usually use foam stickers that you can get at the craft store, or I like to get them at the Dollar Tree because they're cheaper. But I actually have one right here. I just cut little pieces of foam and I glue them on either side to make it pop up a little bit, and the foam squishes so it'll go flat. And so I'm planning on putting this one right here. I'm gonna put the rope across there and then put that popped up. At the bottom here, I'm gonna put this one. And then at the very front, I'm gonna have the happy birthday thing up there. And then this in the back, this popped up in front of it. And then this popped up all in front of that. And so I'm gonna go ahead and glue all this down. So there we go, there's all the art on it. I'm really happy with it. Now I'm just gonna do a little happy birthday stamp, then I'm gonna put gold embossing powder and use the embossing heat tool to make it stand up, to melt all the embossing. If you don't know about embossing, just look it up. It's a really awesome way to make the words stand out on stamps and make them really glittery, so that's what I'm gonna do. This is the stamp I'll be using. It says "Let's Celebrate." It's pretty small, so I'm gonna layer it over some other papers to make it look nice. I'm gonna be stamping it on there. I have my gold stamp, my gold embossing powder, and let's do it. so we have a little thing that says Let's Celebrate, all done and embossed, and I'm gonna be putting it on top of this little green piece I cut out, on top of this other little green piece, and on top of this brown piece to match that one down there. Alright, so I glued it all down, and that's it. That's the card. I hope you like it. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I had a lot of fun doing this, so I will probably be making more of these. I'm sure I will. And please subscribe, like, all that jazz. Thank you.